Okay, good afternoon, y'all. Man in the Black Mask live on the air, and now I'm here to share my political views on this bizarre incident involving two punk girls, right? Two teen girls charged with felony murder and fatal carjacking of Uber Eats driver. Now, this is another case of girls gone wild, okay? Now, 2 months ago, I spoke to y'all about this this other story in which three girls fatally stabbed another in front of a Walmart. You know, and like I said, man, like I said at the start, and like I said now, the parents are at fault because they don't want to watch their kids. Okay, they let their kids run wild and terrorize the community and whatever, and not only ruin their own lives but others too. And this is like an unfortunate tragedy. Okay, I'm just here to tell you that what these girls did was bullshit. Okay, and it's good that they're in jail. It's good that they're in separate cells because let me tell you something. The reason why they're not put in the same cell is because they were complicit in a crime. So naturally, they're not going to want conspirators to share the same cell. Capiche? Now, let me share this article with you in the Independent. Okay, Uber Eats driver killed in suspected carjacking as two teenage girls charged with murder. Okay, now let me read this to y'all. Okay, a father of three working as an Uber Eats driver has been killed in a suspected carjacking in Washington, D.C. after two teenage girls allegedly tried to steal his car. Now, the Washington, D.C., and that's where the White House lies. Muhammad Anwar, 66, died on Tuesday. Shocking footage of the incident shows Mr. Anwar attempting to recover his vehicle as a suspect accelerates, dragging him alongside and crushing him against the fence. Okay? Now, let me share something with you real quick. When I woke up to go to lunch, right, I decided to check out this video after I heard the story on WCBS 880 because I listen to the radio every night before I go to sleep so I can see what's going on. And then there it was, man. I woke up, I saw the video, man, was it fucked up. All I saw was two punk ass low life teens jack this poor man's Uber Eats car. He was just going about his business, delivering foods and whatnot, just minding his fucking business. The next thing you know, these punk asses decided that they were gonna jack his ride. But guess what? They didn't go far. And I'm glad that man fought valiantly for his life, tried to fight for his prized possessions and everything, including that car. All he ever did was his job, and yet he gets killed for it. I mean, how do you justify shit like that? How do you kill somebody just for doing their job? So naturally, saying these girls, that one of them punched the gas with the poor man still hanging on the edge of the door, right? And then a few seconds away, you hear a thunderous boom. One of them just smacked into the fucking wall down the block. And then the car just flipped upside down, right? And then these two fucking idiots decided to try to make their escape, to try to make the fast getaway. But they didn't get far. Why? Because these National Guards were on site and made sure that these girls did not get away with murder. Because they wanted to get away so bad. They wasn't trying to go to jail. But guess what? That's tough shit. You just killed an innocent man. And you just ruined your own life. So now you got to face the consequences. If you didn't want to go to jail, all you had to do was leave the boy the fuck alone. You know what I'm saying? He didn't bother nobody. He was just trying to do his goddamn job, and you fucking killed him because of that. Come on now. Now, these girls should be tried as adults. Okay? I would show you the video, but I'm not gonna because I'm not trying to get a community guidelines strike, okay? Because this is YouTube, and a lot of kids be watching my channel and everything too. So, out of consideration, so don't leave shit messages under my screen saying I didn't show nothing, all that, because I just explained to you why I didn't do that. Anyway, backtrack to the story. The car sped down the street before flipping and ejecting Mr. Anwar onto a nearby sidewalk. The footage shows a figure lying face down on the sidewalk, not moving. Mr. Anwar died in a hospital following the incident after suffering numerous broken bones and severe head trauma. He was making food deliveries at the time of the attack. No shit, I just told you. I mean, the man was just minding his business, trying to do his job, and he gets killed for it. I mean, you don't justify shit like that. You don't kill somebody for doing their job. In footage captured by a bystander, Mr. Anwar could be seen standing next to the driver's door, arguing with those inside the vehicle. Police later said the suspects had used a taser on Mr. Anwar. They're thieves, he is heard saying, as he appears to try to regain control of the car. This is my car. And trust me, I would have did the same thing myself. They're saying, you're not going to take my fucking ride, son. Following the crash, the footage shows one of the carjackers coming out of the overturned vehicle. National Guardsmen near the scene of the crash detained the suspects before they could flee and held them until police arrived at the scene. Congratulations, National Guardsmen, because otherwise they would have did this to somebody else too. I mean, how do you commit a crime and then expect not to get caught? Gotta face the music just like everybody else, man. Fuck out of here. The Metropolitan Police Department said the suspected carjackers are a 13-year-old from Southeast DC and a 15-year-old girl from Fort Washington, Maryland. Neither of the girls has been named because they are juveniles. But I'm going to tell you this. Sure in hell, I'm going to tell you this. These girls are going to be tried as adults. You know that, and I know that. Because an innocent man lost his life over a goddamn Uber Eats car. Because he wanted his car, so naturally they decided they were going to kill just so that they could drive a car. Both teens have been charged with felony murder and armed carjacking. Mr. Anwar's family members told WUSA 9 that he immigrated to the U.S. from Pakistan in 2014 and that he worked food delivery gigs to support his wife, children, and 4 grandchildren. Quote, the family is devastated by this senseless crime, end quote, Mr. Anwar's relatives said in a statement. Quote, Muhammad Anwar was a father, a grandfather, a husband, a brother, an uncle, beloved by many here in the United States and in Pakistan, his birth country, end quote. So he was a beloved family member, a beloved family man who clearly did not deserve to be killed over a goddamn Uber Eats ride. The teens made their initial court appearance on Wednesday. Now, let me read y'all this. A judge ruled that they were a threat to the community and posed a flight risk. So they were detained until their next court appearance on March 31st, meaning that they've been held without bond and will not be released until their case is resolved, whatever the hell that brings. And that's a good thing. The judge did the right thing by branding these girls a menace to society, because they would have done this to another person if they were allowed out of jail. If they were allowed to get away with this, they would have went on a rampage. Let me tell you. Just like those 2 punks, at Jonesboro, Arkansas, back in '98 when they shot up their school. Well, they're out now, but one died, and the other has a case pending, last I heard. Anyway, Mr. Anwar's niece has launched a GoFundMe page to help pay for a traditional Islamic funeral for her uncle. So now Mr. Anwar's family are going to have to go through funeral arrangements, and that's going to cost a lot of money. That's why they set up a GoFundMe account, just to make ends meet. And now imagine the pain that the Anwar family is going through now. Now that an innocent person is dead, their beloved family member is dead because of these 2 fucking punks that decide they want to go out and steal a car. Punk ass pieces of shit, man. Blame the parents. It's their fault their kids is in jail, okay? They should have been watching them. They should have kept their asses in the house if they acted out. If they was on punishment, they had no business outside. As of Sunday, the GoFundMe had raised $430,000 after an initial goal of $100,000 set by the family. Words cannot describe how our family is feeling currently, Laura Bogino wrote in the campaign's description. Quote, devastation, confusion, shock, anger, heartache, and anguish are just a few that come to mind. We will carry him with us always, but it doesn't take the pain away of losing him so tragically and so unexpectedly soon, end quote. Now, like I said, man, these girls deserve to spend the rest of their lives in prison. But a federal law prohibits life without parole for juveniles, so I guess the the judge will probably give them the highest sentence possible, whether it's 30, 40, or 50 years, whatever, because this is clearly first degree murder. This was a premeditated crime. Make no mistake about it. You see, when a murder happens during the commission of a secondary felony, no, a primary felony, then that makes it first degree murder. Why? Because the murder was committed during the commission of another felony. Now, this could also include robbery or rape or burglary or even arson, resulting in death. So naturally, the prosecutors are going to want to seek first degree murder, okay? Because had this not been premeditated, this probably would have been second degree murder. Because second degree murder often involves provocation, just like manslaughter and third degree murder. Meanwhile, first degree murder involves premeditation, which is what happened in this case. That's why these two girls got first degree murder. Do you copy? Now, some of you might know people that work for the law or the courts. Okay? I'm not a lawyer or a prosecutor or nothing, but I do know a lot about the law because I was involved in criminal justice at one point when I was first arrested. That's how I became wary of the crimes and the statutes and everything else. That's how I knew about the law. I wouldn't have known shit about the law if I hadn't never got arrested in the first place. But I'm glad I learned something from the system. Because I was involved in the system at a young age, and it wasn't a pleasant sight. Okay, I'll be honest with you on that. Okay, that's how I became intelligent. When I caught that case and understood how the law works. Now, these girls, I'm sure they're going to get the help that they need when they go to jail. I'm sure they're going to get a psychiatric evaluation and everything else. Everything that needs tending to will be tended to upon entering jail. Now, like I said, man, I think that parents are jackasses for allowing their kids to run wild like that. And I'm not going to use the pandemic as an excuse because the pandemic is no use for criminal behavior. It is no excuse at all, ever. And like I said, man, I don't know if something was done to these girls or what, but then again, no excuse. That don't justify taking someone's life just because you want to steal their ride. I mean, come on, now. I mean, is it okay to steal a ride and then kill somebody for it? Hell no. Okay? But I'm also praying that these girls get tried as adults. Okay? They took a life. Okay? How can you give a second chance to somebody that just committed cold-blooded murder? I mean, you don't do that. Okay? I did my share of bad shit as a kid, but not to the point where I killed somebody. I mean, come on, now. Even I know better. I may be a sick man, but I know my own goddamn mind. And don't get that shit twisted neither. Meanwhile, these girls should have learned the hard way, those two punks. So now they're probably going to turn 18 and 21 in prison. They're not going to have a childhood, and they're not going to have an adulthood. They're going to miss out on so many things because they ruined their lives over a goddamn fucking Uber Eats ride because they wanted to drive a car so bad. All they had to do was wait until they got a certain age so they could drive. But no, they decided to kill for it. Fucking idiots. And I know some kids can be jackasses, I'll tell you. I will admit, I was a jackass as a kid, but I never killed nobody. You know? That's the difference between me and them. I never killed, but those girls did. And naturally, they're going to go to prison for a long time, and they're going to have plenty of time to think about what they did. And hopefully, they won't catch COVID-19 in jail. Okay, may God help them if they catch the bug while locked up. Now, my heart aches for those that are locked up, those that might have already come in contact with COVID-19. And like I said, I wouldn't wish that upon nobody. I wouldn't want nobody to get COVID and lock up. You know what I mean? But I'm praying that shit don't happen to those girls. Yes, they deserve to go to prison for a long time, but no, they don't deserve to catch COVID again. However, they do deserve to become fresh meat for the guards and the inmates alike inside the prison. Because I tell you, guards molest children in jail too. I know a lot of you have heard so many stories about kids getting raped in jails and prisons by either other inmates or the guards and other staff members. But like I said, something gonna happen to them in prison. Trust me when I tell you. Now, had these two punks been 18 and up, they'd probably be looking at the death penalty or life without parole. But like I said, they'll probably get 30, 40, 50 years or some shit. And the judge is going to see to it that they stay in jail for a long time. Just like those two girls that decided to stab a random chick just to please Slender Man. Now, these two fucks are serving their sentences in the cuckoo house. One is desperately trying to get out. But that don't mean it's going to happen, though. I mean, come on. They should be lucky that they're not in a cage getting fucked by guards or other inmates. But like I said, these two girls, man, they need help. The girls that killed an innocent Uber Eats driver when he was just trying to do his job, deliver food and everything else, and then he gets murdered for it. I mean, 66 years old. Now, some of you got parents and grandparents that are in their 60s, okay? Both my parents are in their 60s, okay? I'll tell you. That's how I can relate. I can relate because my parents are in their 60s, okay? And a lot of you got other friends and family members that are in their 60s. So naturally, you're going to think, this could be them too. Whatever happened to that Uber Eats driver, the same thing could happen to one of my own in his or her 60s. So like I said, my heart goes out to the Anwar family because they didn't deserve what happened to their loved one. While my heart don't go out to the two girls that whacked an innocent man for no reason. And they're going to go to prison for a long time, man. So my heart don't go out to them. But I pray that those parents get investigated for possible child neglect because they should have been watching their kids. And then let them run free and do whatever the fuck they want. And yet when the shit hits the fan, the parents want to play the blame game. They want to blame their kids or other people when they can only blame themselves. Whenever they get caught doing something, they want to make excuses. They're just narcissists. Okay, I will tell you, if the problem isn't the kids, it most definitely is the parents. But you can tell the families are just messed up. That's why their kids is in jail. Do you get it? Now, I'm going to stop now. And thanks for listening to The Man in the Black Mask. And if I have another story to share tonight, I'll get it out and I'll share it with all of you. Because I like to present my political views on certain topics. Because some of these stories hit close to home. That's why I signed up for this channel. To express my political views. Because some of that stuff that happens today also happened in our early lives. Okay? So anyway, thanks for listening. So don't forget to like and subscribe and drop a question underneath the screen, okay? And tell me what you think about all this. Because I just told you my views. I can't wait to hear yours. So until then, good luck, be well, and have a good day. I can deal with your reasoning for as long as I can deal with your logic. Thank you for your service.